What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward. Talk about some big news involving Teslas. We have Piper Sandler being very bullish on the share price targets, not to mention new developments on the news. But just notes that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. So offer ends in just 5 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, now let's talk about Tesla. So looking at Tesla, we have this very, very tough resistance up here in this very, very important range. We have that 255 area to 257 as resistance, and then 250 is acting as our support zone. Tesla's range bound for now and may continue to do that for the time being until we get some new developments. So I want to first talk about the economic data in the news before I break down the charts. So as a reminder, today is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. There's nothing too significant coming out. At 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have new home sales coming out. And then besides that, we also have the 17-week bill auction at 11:30 a.m., not to mention some note auctions at 1 p.m. So there might be some volatility at those times, but everything is very minor, might not affect the market way too much. Now, there is some news coming out involving Tesla that Kia is once again joining the supercharger, getting access to the entire network on January 15th. It's joining Ford, Rivian, GM, and many others. So this is both bullish news and also news that has to prepare Tesla for something different. So it's good because this is giving Tesla more exposure, more revenue. A lot more people are interested in Tesla thanks to this. However, what's not so good about this is the fact that there are a lot of EVs kind of joining in, where we have like Ford, Rivian, GM, and the list goes on, with all of them trying to share Tesla's supercharger network alongside all the Tesla customers. So the issue is there's going to be a lot of demand for Tesla's supercharging network, and Tesla has to help keep up with the demand. So Tesla really has to step up and be prepared for what's about to come. There may be long lines at many Tesla supercharging stations, and they have to be really ready for everything. So Tesla has to prepare themselves by expanding the network, keeping up with demand, in my opinion, and we will see how well they do with that, at least going into next year. I'm confident Tesla will be fine overall, but that's just a very, very important heads up. I also want to note that the Giga Berlin has a lot of ambitions. They're trying to expand it even more as they're building more roads around it, and they're going to prepare for extending their construction work on the industrial side very, very soon. So very, very interesting news. I also want to talk about this. We have big news right over here. The Tesla price target has improved and been increased by Piper Sandler. They just announced that they are raising their price target on Tesla to $310 a share from $300, reflecting very, very strong delivery estimates in their opinion. They're also saying that for 2024, they're expecting Tesla to deliver 1.75 million units, up by 23,500 from the previous estimates. And for Q3, they're expecting 460,000 units, a 5.4% increase year over year. They're also talking about how the Chinese sales may be better than expected. We're looking for nice improvements, despite the fact that European demand is falling a little bit. They think China and the US will offset that. And they're very, very bullish on Tesla nonetheless, approaching the robotaxi event. So they're saying that as we get to October, Tesla should be reaching $310 a share. So they're very, very bullish. The market remains very, very elevated right now. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy. I do want to mention that consumer confidence yesterday was kind of weak, which is why consumers have more pessimistic views of the way our economy is looking, despite what Jerome Powell has been telling us. And besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy on the news. So with that being said, let's talk about the charts. As far as Tesla goes, we're going to be looking at some key supports. We have 252.5 as our first support over here. If that zone does not hold, we're looking for 250, 249 to 250 is our target. And if that fails us, we're going all the way down to this 246 area. If we're bullish, looking for 255 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 257.5, followed by 260 as resistance levels. It looks to me like Tesla's going to be dipping closer to this support right here in the 252 area, if not to maybe a little bit closer to 250, but then it could rebound back up and just remain range bound for now. But later on down the line, we could be looking for a big push past the 260 area. The share price remains bullish overall, but for now, we might dip just a little bit on Tesla, retest 252, if not 250, before it tries to bounce back up again. As long as we don't lose 250, we are going to likely be range bound. If we lose the 249 to 250 area, we're looking for a dip to the mid 240s, but that's going to be completely fine. It's not the end of the world whatsoever. Tesla's still holding up just fine. The structure in the chart is very bullish. We do have potential to go all the way up to the 270s soon and even the 300s. But for now, Tesla is once again range bound for the time being. Now for SPY is also kind of range bound, but I do see potential in this to try to push higher because in the 4 hour we held our key support very, very well. So we have this 572 to 572.8 area as our resistance, and our supports at 570 and 568. If we lose 568, close to our 20 EMA, we turn more bearish. If we break the all-time high, we could even push even more and remain more bullish. So look for this resistance at 572 to 572.8 to be tested. If we break out of that, we're looking for 574 to 575. If we don't break through that immediately, we could see a lot of shuffling the 570 to 572 area, but the direction is still upwards as we saw this wick form yesterday and we're trying to push higher. So we favor upside, but just know there might be some consolidation in the range, and there is still upside potential nonetheless. So we could push towards the 572 area very soon, come back down to 570, just trade sideways, and eventually try to break out as time goes on. For ES, we look more bullish. We're testing the 5800 zone as our resistance. We have support at 5771, followed by 5750. My gut tells me we could dip down to 5780, push back up to 5800, and trade sideways in a range for now before it tries to break out higher. So I'll be watching this very, very carefully. For Nvda, we look more bullish. We are still breaking out after the news that Jensen Huang may be done with selling his shares, and we look bullish looking at the inverse head and shoulders. So for Nvidia, we're going to be looking at resistance very close to this 122.8 area. If we break the 122s, we're looking for 125. If we lose 120, we're looking for a dip back down to 118, if not 116. Nonetheless, with the inverse head and shoulders developing, we look more bullish. There's a good chance that this will continue to pump all the way up to these higher levels. For Bitcoin's also trying to push up higher. We have 63,500 as our support, and below that we also have this 62,700 to 62,500 area as support as well. We also have resistance at 65,000. So I think that Bitcoin might dip a little bit towards the low 63,000 area, but then it might get bought back up and pushed back up to 64,500 and just trade sideways for now. If you look at the last few days, we went from like 64,000 to 62,500, back and forth for like 4 straight days. So it may continue to do that as time goes on. For others, we have NQ, which is range bound. We're holding support right now. We're looking at 20,200 as resistance. If this breaks, we go up to about 20,400. If we lose 20,000, we're going back down to 19,800. We're holding up very, very nicely. So far, we favor the upwards direction as long as we don't lose 20,000. It looks like it might try to push higher. For the QQQ, we have this gap to fill above. I think we push a little bit higher for that 485 target. We'll see if that breaks or not. If we break that, we're looking for 487. And if we end up losing 484, we're looking for essentially 482.5 as our support. And if that fails us, we're looking for 480. The chart remains a little bit more bullish as we're holding these wicks. We did dip yesterday only to get bought back up. So we could be looking for a push for 485 plus or higher. For Apple's dipping right now. We're looking for 224 as a target, but this could try to bounce again. If we lose 224, I mean, we could go down to 222.25 to fill that gap. But I think between 222 and 224, this will try to rebound. So it's not going to drop that hard. Might dip a little bit more to 224 before we see an attempt to rebound. So it's dipping right now. So be prepared for that just to be safe. For the IWM, still kind of lackluster. We're trying to hold 220. If we hold 220, we could be looking for a rebound for 221. And if that breaks, we're looking for 222.25. If we don't hold 220, we're looking for a dip back down to 218. So it's going to be testing 220 flat. We'll see if we bounce off that or not. So give this the time it needs. For Coinbase, we're just range bound. We have 168.5 as our support. We have resistance at 172. We could be dipping back down to 168.5 or a little bit below that before we try to rebound. So give this the time it needs. For Amazon's holding its 20 EMA as support. This could try to push up for 195 plus. If we lose 191.43, it could be dipping, but this is still favoring the upwards direction. For Meta is kind of like consolidating right now around this 562 area. I could see this get very close to 560 before it tries to rebound, but I think it's just going to consolidate in this range between 560 and 568 for the time being. We need to lose 557 to turn more bearish on Meta, otherwise it's just trading sideways. Microsoft has support at 428, resistance at 432. I think we trade sideways as well until we see one of these directions break. Same thing with Google. I think it's also trading sideways. We have 163 is our support area. Now, there's a possible head and shoulders here. If we end up losing 162, we dump. Otherwise, it's just a range bound between 163 and 165. That's all I'm seeing for the time being. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great day. Tesla could dip a little bit closer to 250, but then it could rebound again and just remain range bound for the time being. If we were to lose 250, though, we're going to be looking at 246 is our support zone. But once again, guys, I'm not really too worried about that. I still think that approaching deliveries, Tesla is going to pump more and it's going to be completely fine. So don't worry, guys. We're going to be fine. Stay calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys very soon, in a couple of hours, for another update. Thanks again, and peace out.